Good good evening. I've got something a little different for my stream tonight. Good, e- good evening. Tonight I have an old Game Boy game that I'll be playing via emulation. Before I jump into it, um, I had an introduction prepared, but it required looking something up that I forgot to look up, so I'm doing that real quick. But while back on the channel, probably a previous year at this point. It wasn't this year. It might have been last year. But I had done some test streams of doing emulated retro Nintendo games from the N64, the SNES, and the Game Boy. I'm looking back in my playlists now to see if anything ever came of that, because I know that was a while ago, like over a year. So here's the retro Nintendo playlist I'm looking at now, and it says we did a Game Boy sampler. We ran one game. We did a playthrough of one game over 5 streams. And then we did an N64 emulation sampler. And then we did dedicated streams to 3 different N64 racing games. Also in the past. This was all the way back in 2022. So yeah, there were plans to bring Retro Nintendo into this channel. We did a little bit with emulated N64 and emulated Game Boy, but we didn't really go on with that. So, but today I decided to throw back and play a just a little game that used to be one of my favorites on the Game Boy. Not like favorites, but it was good to kill a little while when I need some quick little entertainment for a while. So today we'll be playing the Game Boy version of Star Trek. Back in the classic era of Star Trek, the original 5 shows, what fans now call the Roddenberry era, the 5 original shows, there were a lot of Star Trek computer and video games back then. It was as big a part. They had almost as big an expanded universe with like novels and comic books and video games as Star Wars did. Star Trek was going a similar direction with their expanding universe. And then after Enterprise, Star Trek quieted for a while, and a few years later rebooted with a new timeline, and now we have an explosion of Star Trek stuff again. And much like Star Wars kind of had a renaissance too in the last few years, the franchise's evolutions over time kind of mirror each other in that regard. Um, but let's go ahead and get into the Game Boy version of Star Trek specifically. This game was based on the Next Generation, but only loosely so. The games are randomized. I'll switch over to the game screen, and I will pull up my game here. Load ROM. And for better authenticity in the control scheme, I'm actually using my USB controller for this one. Most games I've had trouble. I've been using keyboard and mouse so long, I have trouble adapting to using the controller for most games, and I hardly ever use it. But this is one game, any of these classic retro Nintendo games, it's justified to use my USB controller instead of keyboard mouse. So let me find it. We're in the Game Boy folder. We need to find the Star Trek game. And I've set the game on mute so that we can, because, copyright and all that. And, my microphone doesn't really like the old Game Boy chip tunes. It spiked so many times during the test. So this game's very old. It's a 31-year-old game. Wow, this game's almost as old as I am. So here we have, we're going to start the game because I don't know any of the rank passwords. So we're going to start the game here. And I have to get used to these controls. Tellurian vessels have approached Malona 4. This constitutes a violation of our peace treaty. So we need to go to Telona 4 And we hold on, there is clearly a rendering issue going on here. Let me see if I can fix that flashing real quick. Sync. Okay, that fixed that. Sorry about that. I apologize to all you seizure people out there, but we should be smooth running now. Why are my controllers no longer working? Oh no, it went right back to doing it. Hold on. There's definitely something wrong here. What if I cut frames per second? Let's cut frames per second to... Will that solve my issue? So if we start going again... Is it going to let me actually play, or did I just freeze the whole thing? No, it's still doing it. Okay. We can't play like this. Let me do a quick look up over here in Google. Okay. Let me see. I'm going to play around with a couple things real quick here. Okay. Yeah, let's see if that fixed it. Alright, how do we get going again? Or are we... Let's just kill and start it over. Maybe it will work this time with that settings adjustment. And we just got a blank white screen now. That's not a good sign. Alright, let's try this. So there's the Enterprise on screen again. We're still flickering? Shoot. I really can't play with it flickering like that. Alright, we're gonna troubleshoot for another couple minutes. Okay, I'm reading this. Alright, let's try another adjustment here. Let's try this. Alright, we need to transport the colonists from planet Panthera. A lethal virus is on the planet. So we need to go to Panthera and get the colonists. Okay, it's not flickering as bad now. We can work with this. So we need to travel to Panthera. Who does travel again? LaForge is engineering. He does the systems. Worf, I think, does the combat. O'Brien is the transporter. Riker's just mission stats. He's useless. Alright, how do I go on from here? Alright, so Data, I think, does the travel. We want to set a course for Panthara. At full warp. So it's still flickering a little bit, but not as bad. It's manageable. And we lose, like, the warp effect because of the setting I did, but whatever. We're in warp right now. And in a little bit, it will tell me, hey, we're at the planet, and we can do things again. In warp, we kind of are in this shutdown mode where we can't do anything. Alright, we can see here. Let's navigate towards the planet. I don't need course right now. We're at the planet we want to go to. The sensors are online. Let's go to orbit. We must be closer to the planet in order to attempt orbit. And I don't remember. Okay. Oh, we're in the orbit rings now. We're in the orbit rings minigame. Okay. Basically, we have to fly through these squares in order to achieve orbit with the planet. So we'll fly here. And I'll need to pause in a moment because actually we're about to finish. We're going to get close to the end of the mission anyway. I just got an important notification on my phone. So we are in orbit at Panthara, so now we can go to the transporter and bring everyone in. So there should be 4 colonists. They're in a panic and we need to find them. And when we find the colonists, we need to keep our signal on them. So the little lock indicator at the bottom tells me how close we're getting to a target. So there's one. Let's bring them in. There's 2 targets right there. Why isn't it charging? Oh, it wasn't directly on them, I guess. You have to have the thing directly on them, I guess. They're running around too fast. That might have something to do with why I can't get a signal on them. There we go. For some reason I had my transporter beam actually unengaged, I guess. We need to We need to find this guy now. Oh, we can only target the one that the meter's specifically targeting. It didn't want me to go for that guy yet. It wants me to go for this other guy over here. That's why we weren't getting the transporter signal. So now, you can see, we came to this guy, and the transporter picked him up no issue. We can't just go for the closest guy. We have to go for the one that the lock indicator is targeting. So now we can go back for this last colonist over here. And so the colonists beam aboard our ship for transport away from the infected planet. And as part of our graphic settings to prevent the flickering, we also just lost the transporter effect. Here's the captain again. The colonists have been removed from the threat of lethal infection. And we are currently at the rank of ensign. And this is the password we want to use if we want to jump directly to this rank in the future. But this is the lowest rank, so this password is useless. Meanwhile, let me take a moment and respond to this notification. And we'll move on to the next mission in a moment. Sorry for the slow start today. It's been a while since I run my Game Boy emulator. And I actually haven't used it since the operating system upgrade. So this is my first time playing on the Game Boy emulator since upgrading the computer. Responding to this notification real quick, and we'll be right on with the next mission. Give me one moment. Alright. I've read the email. I have to respond to it real quick, because this is an urgent matter regarding a doctor's appointment tomorrow morning. Alright. Tap, tap, tap. Let's get into this real quick. It's loading. And sorry about this. We'll be playing on in a moment. Alright. We're ready to go. We're ready to go. Let's proceed. Alright, here's the captain giving us our next mission. A freighter near Panthara is about to suffer a warp core breach. So, same planet. Rescue the crew before the freighter explodes. So, we need to go back to data and fly to Panthara again. And then we need to find the freighter. So, the planet choices in the game are Earth, Vulcan, Risa, Altair, Rigel, Krios, Panthara, Catan, Melona, Amanugi, Tarsus, Lycia, Iconia, Crystalia, Bajor, and Goja. I like Bajor. It's an interesting place. But we're going to Panthara tonight. Oh, we can't go if we don't set a warp speed. Alright, we're warping to Panthara, and then we need to find the freighter and lock in the transporters so that we can rescue the crew. Warp core breach sometimes means there's enemy ships in the area that cause the warp core breach, so we need to go in being wary. There's two indicators over there. Let's go to data and check our sensors before we, There's the presence of other ships in the sector. So there's the Tellurian vessel and the freighter. So we do have enemies to fight here. So let's come over to Wharf and raise the shields. And now we need to come over here and arm the weapons. So whenever we see a mission regarding a warp core breach on a civilian vessel, we should assume that there are enemies present. Now let's come to data. We're at half impulse. Alright. Alright. I'm still... Alright, let's see if we can get back. Alright. So nobody's selected. Does that mean we're in pilot mode now? How do we get faster speed here? So it says we're at full speed, okay. So we need to approach those ships. There's nothing we can do until we're near the ships. And weapon systems are armed. And we need to get close to these ships somehow. There's the enemy vessel. Let's see if we can punch some holes into it. Oh man, it's circling. Okay. I've lost sight of the ship. And with the graphics settings we just did, we're probably not gonna have full view of all the effects. So let's go to the sensors. Alright, so it looks like the Tellurian's right on top of us. Let's keep flying towards the freighter and wait for it to come into view. It doesn't seem to be shooting too much at us. Mostly it's trying to take evasive action, it looks like. We've got to keep track of the sensors. We're moving away from the action. I want to be able to see the sensors, so... Yeah. Ah, it's shooting at us. We need to look for it. So I think our best bet right now is to fly in circles until we knock out this enemy ship. Okay, it keeps evading us. That's alright. We will get it eventually. How are we doing on time? We still got plenty of time before the mission ends. Sensors. I lost track of where we are. Alright, so they're behind us now. They're probably getting ready to fire on us again. Yeah. If we put some distance between us, we can start maneuvering around them again, I guess. Our engines are currently at half. Why am I shooting at that ship? Alright, let's look for the... Is this the ship we want to go towards? No, we're actually facing the enemy ship right now, but it's out of range. Alright, let's keep it in our field of view. Alright, we're at full speed right now. There we go. Sustain fire if I can for a while. And it dodged again. Let's re-engage the sensors. Alright, let's... Let's see, meanwhile, we're getting farther and farther from the target civilian craft we're supposed to be rescuing, so let's try and get that back on camera. And we're doing this half blind because of our graphics issues. Alright, so it says we're roughly going the right way to meet up this enemy ship, or the civilian ship. So we just gotta keep going back to our sensors, because we're flying blind. Alright, there's the bad guy ship. So let's maneuver for a bit and try and fight it again. That might actually be the planet, come to think of it. It's barely moving, and it's not in the direction that the sensors indicated either of the other ships. So, let's keep moving in the general direction of the target civilian ship. And maybe the enemy ship will come around for another pass, and we'll be ready for it when it does. They're flashing a little more intensely now, but still not as bad as they were before. Sensors. The Talarians have major damage. It says the freighter has no damage. The sensor map does open in real time, so while we're here, we can't actually pilot in this view. It's basically on autopilot with our previous course. So now if I come to sensors now, alright, sorry this is taking so long. I'm still getting used to this game. It's been many years since I've played. So it looks like that's going to be our enemy ship. Alright, I still don't know how the engines are operating. But we're giving chase to this ship here for right now. How's our time going? Okay, we still got plenty of game time. And we blew up the enemy ship, so now we can focus on coming over here to the civilian ship. And they're so far away, they're completely off the radar. Meanwhile, let's come over here to Wharf and take down the weapon systems. We can't run the transporter while the shields are up. Now let's keep on sensors. Alright, we're in full impulse right now. So let's just keep going this way and hope we're going the right way. And we'll keep checking the sensors to see if the ship reappears. Okay, this was a really fun game on the Game Boy, but it's losing its pacing, I think, with these graphics settings. Maybe it's worth bringing the flicker back a little bit. Let's... Warning to seizure and flashing people. I'm trying to set this back. Yeah, that's more smooth, but we have the flickering. But we can actually, more importantly, we can actually see which way we're going. This might be a nice compromise here. Yeah, here you can actually see which kind of, try to see which way the stars are moving. Yeah, we'll have better navigations, I think, by doing it this way. Okay, I see. We're going completely the wrong direction here. Let's turn the ship around so we can start moving towards the freighter. We're still half blind because we can't see it on the radar yet. Alright, we should have visuals soon. You can see with this new setting, it's flashing a little more than it was. Not terrible enough to be problematic, but still bad. But more importantly, we can actually see which way the ship is trying to go now. Alright, I see. I finally figured out how to do engine speed. You gotta do engine speed from the staff menu, it looks like. So that's good to know. Let's watch from sensor view for a while. We've already taken down the shields, so all we have to do when we catch up with the civilian ship is get close enough and engage the transporter. We overshot our adjustment. Let's try here. Alright, so we're headed straight in the right direction. Why it's not targeting, why we don't see it, we're probably not facing the right elevation. Let's go up and down a bit to see if it starts showing up. Yeah. I forgot how annoying some of these missions could be. So yeah, we're definitely going the right way according to this. Let's get a sensor lock. That might be why we can't see it. Okay, it's coming closer. We've got to be running low on time by now. No, we still got a bit of time. Let's keep going forward. I'm not sure why it's still not coming up on sensors if we're going the right direction. I guess spinning's as good a trick as any. Alright, let's halt the ship real quick and see if we can find the angle this way. Can I get a sensor lock, maybe? We were pointing the right way, so I don't know why it's not showing up on target now. Well, that's the top of the view range. And there's the bottom of the view range. So our engine, all right, it's we have a target lock. Let's just keep following that ship now. We weren't seeing it because we weren't close enough, apparently. Now we can see the indicator on our screen. And we can approach it. And we've been on this mission for over 20 minutes because I'm still trying to figure out the flight controls. But I think I got it now. The next mission should run a little smoother. Yeah, we're getting close to the ship now. How's our speed? We're still at full speed. All right. Let's keep chasing the ship until we're close enough to transport. We don't seem to be getting any closer. Where are we according to here? We're almost directly on top of the ship now, so... Alright. We have halted our engine. Let's see if we can... Oh, we're still too close. Let's go up to half then. Alright, we need to find our four rescue targets. Of course, in order by the lock meter. Alright. We gotta find 2 more rescues. Okay, this part was super easy. Barely an inconvenience. And now that we know how to actually fly the ship, our next missions should be a little bit smoother. The crew of the freighter is safe, though their ship has exploded. We have been promoted to lieutenant. That means the missions are about to be slightly more difficult, but I think we can handle it. A freighter near planet Bajor reports that it is under attack. Yay, we get to go to Bajor. It is imperative that the freighter reach its intended destination. So we need to go to Bajor and see who's attacking the freighter. Alright, we're gonna make sure everything is armed before we go in there, because we're gonna be entering a hostile situation. So we have our shields. We're bringing up the weapons now, and then we will warp to Bajor at full speed. We are now flying to Bajor. And once we get there, we're gonna figure out what the situation is. We're only lieutenant, so I have a feeling it's gonna be Tellurians or Ferengi. Later levels introduce really tough fighters in the Klingons and the Romulans. And at captain level, there's the indefeatable Borg that appear once in a while. You get one of those missions, you may as well restart the game, because you're not winning it. So, Data has a message for us. We have the presence of other ships in this sector. We have two Ferengi ships and the freighter that's under attack. Let's make sure we're pointing in the correct direction. We're pointing the incorrect direction, so first let's bring up some speed, and then let's turn the ship around and find the action. Alright, there's our 3 ships over there. Let's get close. Bajor, of course, is the planet around which Deep Space Nine orbits. But I don't. This game predates the creation of Deep Space Nine, so that's not in this game. Alright, sensors. What am I doing? I'm going the wrong way. I wish there was a way to target lock from the sensor screen, but obviously we can't. Oh, it's shooting at us. We need to step up our game here. What are we even doing? Oh, we're getting shot at. We need to find our enemy and quick, and put them on the run. Alright, where are the enemy ships? The sensors show that we were right on top of them. Alright, well, there's 2 of the ships. We need to, but clearly they're not the ones shooting at us. They're not in attack range. We need to find the one that is. we got hit again. Where is this ship that's flying circles around us, apparently? On top of us. Okay. Tactics, I guess. It wasn't that way. I think we found our... I just saw the ship, but it turned away from us. Alright. It's showing that still pretty much on top of us. And you saw that shot that it was fired at us, so let's see if we can use the shot to locate it. Ah, there's a little indicator at the side of the screen. But it looks just like the other stars, so I'm not really sure. Alright, sensors. Ah, the ship that's currently attacking us has major damage right now, which means pretty soon we'll be able to knock it out and start working on the other one. Alright, let's look for the arrow indicators, which are almost indistinguishable from the stars, unfortunately. Yeah, this game is really tough with this flickering effect and the workaround for the flickering effect. This is kind of frustrating, actually, that I can't seem to target this thing. Although it says no damage, which means we've been hit a few times. The Ferengi must be underpowered then. Yeah, maybe there is an indicator. Maybe I'm just seeing the stars flash at the edge of the screen, like they always do. I just misinterpreted one as some kind of indicator. Because it's the same graphics for them. Alright, let's put some distance, and then maybe, just maybe, the ship will come into view if we fly straight. Where are you? Come on, Ferengi ship, where are you? The Ferengi culture, as portrayed in Deep Space Nine, is kind of silly and funny. Their culture revolves around business and profits. And they're very anti-women. Okay, I can't do this. We're gonna have to put this game into seizure mode. The animation is a little more fluid, but I don't call this seizure mode for nothing. I won't be able to play very long like this, though. But the game left me no choice right now, because I can't see what we're doing. It says like the ship is right on top of us. So... or beneath us. We were at the top of the view frame there. Oh, that's the bottom of the view frame. The stars that look like indicators are definitely more intense now, but they're still just stars, just flickering faster. Let's see if I can throw out this mission and get another one, just because we've wasted so much time already. Alright, let's start this over, actually. We just passed the hour mark of stream, and I'm not satisfied because we're playing very poorly. So I'm going to reset the game, and we got up to password Barkley, so that's where we're going to start. Honestly, I think we're going to call it soon because this was fun, but it doesn't really work on the emulation without creating. Oh, I have a marathon game I want. I have a game on here I want a marathon in the next couple in the next couple of weeks. We'll do Password, and we got up through Barkley. The Federation starbase near Risa must be evacuated. The reactor core is approaching meltdown. Easy enough, we just have to go to Risa. And actually, let's arm everything, because it is a reactor core issue, so they could be under attack. And we're going to play in seizure mode for a little bit. See if that helps our gameplay any. Because we essentially wasted most of the first hour on not being able to see what we were doing. Let's go to scan. There's no other ships. It looks like it's just us and the starbase right now. So let's get visual, and then let's head over. Let's head straight to the starbase, beam our people out, and be done with this mission in record time. And we just froze the game, it looks like. Well, I think we're going to call it here. We'll raid out to Neo-Kellims tonight, I think. Because they're a good show, and they have good vibes. I'm too frustrated with this game now to continue. I thought I could just relax and wind. I mean, there's not much substance to this game. It's given us so many problems. I'll try this game again on stream one more time in a little while, but for now, let's call it. Let's go to the Neo-Kellims, have a good night, and I will see you soon. In a little while, but for now, let's call it. Let's go to the Neo-Kellims, have a good night, and I will see you soon.